if they are playing something interesting. So, sit tight at home. We're going to show you some commercials and some deck strategy, and we're going to be back for round 3 as soon as possible.
Welcome to YCS Bochum, the second European Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series of the year, and it's going to be a great one.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be the first time for you in Bochum?
Yes, this is the first time that I have been Bochum.
Shame on Rob, seriously. This is like the 7th or 8th time I am in Bochum. This is such an historic location. First ever European Championship, the first ever 2006, almost 10 years ago, in this very location.
That is a long, long time ago.
At the same time, it was a big year, not just for Yu-Gi-Oh!, also for, well, Europe and Germany, because the World Cup was going on. So right next door is a stadium in Bochum. There was a football game. It was going nuts, but all the action was in here, in fact. So the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players were even louder than the football fans that were like right next door and celebrating. Wow. And it was such an epic event, and that was almost 10 years ago. Then 4 years ago, 5 years ago, in fact, 2010, first ever European Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, also in Bochum. Wow. You know who won?
Who won?
Michael Gruner was it. And Vincent Wieland, by the way, was the first ever European champion. And then 2 years ago, we had the largest ever European Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series at the time. You know which ones beat Bochum to it?
I believe it was London and
Correct.
Milan as well.
And Milan last year.
Yeah.
Rob is also informed, yeah. And on top of that, we had a couple of Fortune Tours, Faro Tours, National Championships, and a couple of smaller events, all in this very venue. This is like where Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at its core. So this is one story of the weekend. The other one is, the last event we've had was YCS Prague.
Yes.
With Necros being like the main deck. Gonna talk about decks in just a second. This is something, and upcoming, right after Bochum, we're gonna go into national season. So it's not gonna get any boring, in fact. It's just going to get more exciting.
Now, we've got Europeans that will be coming up very, very soon. It's shortly after the Nationals season, which is next month, actually.
Right.
All of the Nationals, I believe, are happening in Europe next month.
I think some of them in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, in fact.
Yes, yes. I mean, the UK one, which I'll be at because, as you know, I am the UK organised play partner. It's, which will be held in Derby, in the Roundhouse. Beautiful venue. It used to be an engineering bay for trains.
Okay.
Which they've then converted into a large kind of exhibition hall.
That means lots of space, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge, really nice round room. So, but regional season is still happening at the moment. I believe the last ones in the UK are happening now. I'm not quite sure in other countries. There's some regionals happening here as well this weekend.
They allow you to score a ticket for the European Championship.
Yes, for every 8 players you've got in a regional, you get 1 qualification for the European Championship. They also pass down as well. So don't worry if there's lots of players in there that have already qualified. They're not going to steal it from you.
You got better chances to score a ticket.
Now, we've got sealed and constructed happening here this weekend, which will be both Saturday and Sunday. So it'd be really nice to see who's really here to play in the YCS or who really, really wants to go to the European Championships. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so 2 stories down, Bochum, historic location, national season right in front of us. 3rd story of the weekend, the decks.
No, we are still looking at Necros. They weren't really hit that hard by the Forbidden Unlimited list.
Some things have changed, right? You have to build a little bit differently.
Yeah, there's a few things that have changed. I mean, Preparation of Rights was hit, Unicore was hit.
Okay.
A few other things came off the list as well, but I'm not quite sure whether we'll see that.
Okay.
Because there's Gladiator Beast Bestiari. Now, if anybody's watched any of the streams before, everybody knows that I love Gladiator Beast, so it's going to be nice to see if we see those again, especially with Geyserus doing its thing.
Right. What other decks are there? I've heard that Shadol are making a big comeback.
Yes, Shadol are currently making a big comeback, and that is because they can run the new Star Seraph cards, which is Scepter and Sovereignty.
Right.
It makes lots and lots of Xyz monsters that require 3 level 4 monsters and draws a lot of cards.
Is Shadol going to be the 2nd most played deck or the 3rd most played deck, in your prediction?
At the moment, it's actually sitting on Satella and Shadow for me.
All right.
Because Satella with Star Seraphs makes easy Deltarosses and other cards.
These are the 3 decks for the weekend?
I believe so, yeah.
We're going to talk about them a little bit more in detail in just a second. Is there anything else we have to get out of the way for YCS Bochum? Why should people be excited about this event? Let's hear it from you.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be
There's going to be lots and lots of players.
What's your prediction?
This venue is massive. I believe you said to me earlier maybe over 1,400, but we want it to be a record breaker.
So we're going to say 1,000 1,600.
Yes,
I'm calling it.
1,600.
1,600 players this weekend. And if we have less than that, we're going to lose our jobs. That's it for the preview for YCS Bochum. Stay tuned. We're going to have more feature matches for you. We're going to talk about strategy and decks a little bit later on today. So don't go anywhere and enjoy all the action from YCS Bochum 2015. We're back at YCS Bochum, and I have been promoted to card holder. Here I got a couple of good cards that Rob is going to talk about to run us through the popular decks this weekend, so you know what to expect on the stream. And well, also if you're playing in your local hobby league or something, or at a regional to qualify for the European Championship. So pick a card, Rob.
Oh, let's start with this.
All right, this is the elephant in the room, I guess. Necros of Brionek. What's so good about this card?
Well, it lets you search out pretty much, I believe it's the monster cards is that, and then Clausus lets you search out the spell cards as well. So it just makes Necros incredibly consistent. But if you want to show all three of the Necros cards that you've got there, just quickly.
Those are the three Necros cards, really. Whoops. We got the Brionek, we got Trishula, and we got Valkyrus.
Now, they have, all of the cards are hand traps, meaning, you know, you're not really looking... You can't really expect what's in the hand there unless they've been searched out. Valkyrus is stopping attacks from the hand. Gungnir is stopping monsters from being destroyed. Trishula is stopping cards from being affected. So you've got this massive wall and barrier, and the biggest thing that Necros do is the Djinn lock, which is if they use Djinn as a ritual material, they're going to stop your opponent's special summoning as long as that ritual monster's face up.
And there are a couple of decks, and by a couple I mean all of them, that rely on special summons.
Pretty much. I mean, you're looking at, to counter that, maybe like Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, but things that sometimes don't necessarily target, but will still flip that monster face down or get it off of the field.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. I mean, in the mirror, it is the be-all and end-all.
Yeah.
If you've got a Djinn lock against each other, then there's not much point anymore.
It is still interesting because there's a lot of psychology going on. Some players have the Djinn lock in their first turn, but don't do it because they want their opponents to use their options against it first and then bring it out. And some players say, my opponent's only going to play 3 or maybe 4 answers to the Djinn lock anyway. If he doesn't have them in his hand, I'm just going to go for it straight away. So there is something to talk about. It's quite interesting, but of course, this is not the only deck.
Now, something else that's interesting about Necros, sorry, just to go back to it, is they got hit in the Forbidden Unlimited list. Unicorn and... Brionek, sorry. And Brionek and Preparation of Rites got hit in the Forbidden Unlimited list.
Right.
People have started replacing those with hand traps, effect veilers, maxis, things like that. So it's going to be interesting just to see how people play a little bit differently now that they've lost the searches and wanted a little bit more utility. There's also going to be a lot of interesting tech choices as well. All right.
So let's wrap it up for Necros. It's super consistent, very, very flexible, and it's got a couple of power plays as well with Trishula, mostly. All right. What else do we have? This is another blue card, but a slightly different blue. It's a El Shadol Construct.